Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Children of the Cup. I am your DM, GM, storyteller, whichever you'd like to call me, Forgotten Dreams, and I'm joined by a lovely cast of people, starting with Azzy.
Hello, I'm Azzy, and I'm playing Emilia, the only non-vampire in the game of vampires.
Woo! All right, next up we have Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma or Mel, and I play Isabella of Montfort.
Next up we have Shannon.
Hiya, I'm Shannon, and I play Rosa Ritchie, otherwise known as the Maiden.
All right, last but not least, we have Seth.
Hi, my name's Foriel, and I'll be playing Victor.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Victor, why don't you bring us in with the viewer warning, and then Emma can bring us in with a recap.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our vampire game. This is a game of vampires. Vampires are dark and evil creatures, so please expect dark decisions and dark themes to be at hand. If any of these themes feel like they might be a bit too much for you, feel free to take a break, take care of yourself first, and please don't hold any of these actions against the player or storyteller. They are all in character. Thank you.
Right. I do think we got back into it at the start of the last session when there was some kind of presence in the entrance of the manor, and the maiden it was the maiden that saw it and basically started to try to make contact with the person, which she at least thought it was. And it turned out that it was a ghost of some sort. And basically had come to the manor because he had heard some kind of rumors that there was someone that might help him get to the bottom of what happened to him. She also expressed this was something called, I think it was a faceless one, which basically meant that they had lost all knowledge of who they were and why they had died, basically. We had a bit of a chat with this ghost who wanted our help and got some information about the last things he could remember, which was a church being built probably somewhere in the 14th century, or at least that's where he when he probably lived. He did remember working with some kind of manuscripts and winemaking. And I don't remember exactly, but I do think that the maiden basically told him that she would help him.
Okay.
Yes.
I do think that Victor sort of suggested we go out for the night.
Yeah, that as well. And also, the maiden saw 26 rows of 6 ants in the garden when she was out gardening. That was kind of doing a funeral, maybe? It was strange.
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay.
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Yeah, something very important. Someone showed up to the house at the end of the episode.
Oh, right, the German.
The German, whose name is...
Uncle.
No spoilers. You are not doing the recap.
Okay.
Do you mean Tobias, or?
No.
We're still expecting him, I think.
Tobias has not arrived.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you mean the
Attorney.
the attorney? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ludolf
Because
Ernolf Kunkel.
yeah, Emilia went and talked to him to basically make him pretend to be her, well, superior, I suppose, as an attorney-in-law. That's probably totally legal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, to basically look over the documentation that Isabella has been sent by her father.
All right, fantastic. So, we pick up after the amount that has been deduced has been named for the amount that's being transferred over to your custody. Does anyone else remember how much that was? It's a very specific number.
It was very specific, but I don't remember how much. I just remember it was a lot.
Yeah, somewhere in the neighborhood of around 64,000 guilders. And we will pick up with Kunkel currently reading over everything. He's confirmed with you that, in fact, it is a transfer of shares within the VOC, the Amsterdam branch, to be specific, from your father to yourself. That equaling a share total amount of 1% of the company / corporation. Well, was there anything in particular that you were wary about with this particular transfer?
well, I would want it looked over, make sure that it is correct.
Legally, yes, it is sound that it does transfer over the funds, the shareholding to you. The funds themselves will remain within the shareholding of the VOC, so you won't physically get any money. However, I should go ahead and specify that here on page 3, it says that your activities regarding this 1% shares will be monitored and reported back to the original shareholder, your father. Should you at any time attempt to resell, or if you attempt to even portion off any of that share, the deed will be null and void, and it will be immediately returned to your father's possession. And that's for a period of 10 years.
Is that normal?
It can be, with him being the original shareholder and him passing it on. It is essentially a grant with conditions.
Right. Alright, very well. I suppose that means that if I would want to do any of those actions, I would have to have this agreement.
Yes.
Very well.
But that only comes to if you're looking to sell anything off from the share itself. Outside of that field, you should be free to expand the portfolio as much as you desire.
Wonderful. And I suppose that any earnings I make from it is mine to invest as I see fit?
Yes. However, should it go through within the 10-year period that at any time the contract is reversed and your father regains possession of the shares due to you attempting to sell anything off, you will have to reimburse him for any profits made in that time frame.
That seems ridiculous.
Well, it's written here on page 3. We can add an addendum.
I suppose that would make it so that this takes more time. Right? Because then it would have to go back to him and he'd have to
Correct.
audit it and...
It's an entire new contract, essentially a counteroffer.
Shit. Very well. Anything else?
Within these pages, that is the only thing that sticks out as of particular interest. Everything else is the normal shenanigans that is dealt with within members of the VOC and transferring of stocks.
Right. What are your recommendations?
Well, it comes down to actually your personal preference. If you do not wish to have the 10-year time frame on you, you'll have to definitely send a counter offer, and I would encourage that. If you are okay with it, then I would say accept it. So ultimately it's what you want out of this and how much you're willing to be looked after initially.
And what about the heritage question?
Which one? Do you mean should your father pass or should you pass?
Yes.
Okay. Should your father pass?
My father should pass.
Should you sign this and your father should pass within the 10-year period, it still defaults to you.
All right. Then that seems acceptable.
Okay. Then I would say all we have to do is wait for his representative to arrive back here at the manor, and then we can sign it in front of him. Beyond that, is there anything else that you need?
At this moment, no.
Very well.
But I would, if you don't mind, it would be great if you could witness it.
Oh, absolutely, and I'll have to notarize it as well. But that's included in the service fee.
Wonderful.
Well,
refreshments.
I've been given tea, it seems. Thank you very much. And he begins to sip away at it. Is there somewhere you would like me to wait for our guest to arrive? Or am I free to sit here?
You are free to sit here.
Fantastic.
I guess I'm also free to sit here then. She says and smiles and takes a sip.
Was there any word on when he might be arriving?
Early evening was what was said, so hopefully fairly soon.
Hopefully very soon.
In the meanwhile, however, what was this coffee you were talking about?
Well, it's a bit of a delicacy that's begun to circulate between the nobles. So far, I've encountered it 3 times, mainly from traders from Lisbon. I do have a bit at the office, but unfortunately I don't exactly carry it around with me. It's very unique, refreshing, a bit bitter to some, but gives one heck of a kick in the energy.
Interesting.
Sometimes I can have
Sounds
a cup
like
of
a
it
sound
and
investment, perhaps.
find myself up for hours upon hours.
Are there any distributors in the city?
No, there isn't. Like I said, the limited amounts that I've run into has come from Portuguese traders from Lisbon, running trade through here. I do know that there are a number of buyers within the higher nobility, 1 or 2 here in the lower nobility, but not enough, I don't think, for a real market to boom just yet, as it's, at least the way that they're selling it currently, a bit expensive.
Might make good for a new enterprise. Now look at the rest of the group.
Might. And if this all goes through, I'll have ships.
Indubitably. It'd be quite interesting to see the price of coffee go from 25 guilders down to something more reasonable.
Huh. Well, we
I
were
would not
thinking
mind.
about... Go ahead.
I would not mind the names of these traders if you have them.
I could write up a list and have it all delivered to you this evening.
That would be great. Thank you.
Should I also pass along... there are a few who have held the item in their holds but have not sold here in market. Should I also get that list?
If you don't mind.
Mine, yeah. You are the client, after all. Speaking of which, I am very much eager to continue to work with you all in the future. And should you have any legal needs whatsoever, I am quite easily on call, as my colleague will quite easily know where to find me.
Of course. And I'm sure there will be opportunity.
Yeah, and a wide range of services, everything from duels to any legal dispute.
Yes.
Good to know.
Duelist, that sounds useful.
It comes with the trade at times.
All about combat and all that.
Well, yes. I'm sorry, I did not fully catch your name, sir. Any motions in your direction, Victor?
Victor Portinari.
Portinari. That name does ring a bell. Was your uncle caught in a recent scandal?
Not that I'm currently aware of. But it does sound like my uncle.
Hmm.
What would be the allegations of this particular scandal?
Infidelity, if I remember correctly.
Ah, right. Of course. Nothing too surprising in that case. Could very well be.
Very well. Your family owns a number of properties here within the city. It's very interesting. Although, I haven't seen them as of late very often.
I believe they've returned to Italy. Back to the roots.
That would explain it. Interesting. That leaves you the sole proprietor of their domain here?
Currently, yes. I would assume so.
Well,
Since I still have to have a look at the paperwork, but
in that case...
for that I need to pass through the city hall.
He goes within his
The
jacket
archives.
pocket and produces a card and slides it over to you. We're always here to help.
Thank you, and I will pocket the card.
Wonder how long, and then there's a knock on the door.
Emilia does everything she can to not stand up and go to the door. She's like,
Bella tries to wave at one of the.
Yeah, Marcel goes over to
Servants.
the door and opens it up. Oh, closes it. The big guy's here. Opens it once more. Please come on in. And
Tickets. I'll say.
not Marcel, Marco. My bad. But he goes ahead and brings him in, and goes ahead and gets him sat down. And you can see that since his time here, he's changed clothes. And he also, you're not sure how, but somehow he's achieved the ability to become slightly more rounder than he was when he arrived. And has a large smile on his face as he comes and he sits down. So, how have things gone? I take it. Mr. Kunkel! And yes, hello. And they both shake hands, pleasantries, yada yada yada. And Kunkel kind of waits for you to speak.
Thank you for returning. I hope your stay was adequate.
Yes, quite excellent indeed. Very fine rooms set up. Very fine indeed. Your, I don't quite remember what she is. Set up a very good job. Kunkel butts in. My colleague, yes, Madame Amelia. Yes. Yes, Madame Amelia. Very excellent on the accommodations. I greatly appreciate it.
I'm glad to hear.
In the meantime, have we made a decision as to whether or not to sign, counter offer? Kunkel kind of perks up there and puts on his glasses again. Well, it would seem that my client has gone over all the documentation available to us, and unless I am incorrect, is willing to, as it stands, sign. And this, I guess, would be the last notice and offer of any addendums that the client wants to make.
That is correct.
Fantastic. And Tobias sort of goes, very good, very good. Well then. And he pulls out some ink and quill. Says, if you will sign here, date this, date that, and sign here.
Isabella will take the quill and do so.
And after a grueling minute of signing and dating, and then going into different pages and signing and dating, and then going to a completely different page and signing and dating, in random spots that it doesn't seem like it's necessary, Eventually, Tobias seems to be satisfied, collects the papers after letting them dry, of course, and then neatly packs them away and goes ahead and stands. Well, it's been a pleasure. I will get these returned to your father immediately.
Yes, I also have a letter that I would like you to bring,
Oh.
if you don't mind.
Yes, indeed. Also addressed to the same individual?
Yes.
Fantastic.
And she will bring it out, and it's sealed with sealing wax.
Mhm.
She'll hold it out.
Okay,
There
fantastic.
you go.
So we'll go ahead and take it. I will make sure it gets there with the utmost care. Well, it has been a pleasure, and congratulations, young lady.
Thank you.
Good day. And
Good evening.
he is shown out of the property, leaving all of you to do whatever the fuck you want.
And Kunkel is still there? Or
Yes,
does he
Kunkel's
leave?
Kunkel like waits for him to leave and then sort of nods. Well, if my services are no longer needed for the evening, I shall retire. You can easily contact me at my offices. I'm usually there most days and nights.
May I just ask, are you familiar with Mr. Sherwood since previous?
From time to time, we have dealt with each other. There are about 7 VOC shareholders in the area that I have done similar contracts that ended up crossing paths with him. Also, he is one of the few people who represents the Dockers Union, so their contracts also go through him. And I've done 2 cases for the court in that regard.
Right. So he's with the VOC then?
No, he is
Specifically?
the VOC. It hires free contractors essentially on a need-by-need basis. Whenever they need something done legally, they'll go ahead and they'll select from a list of trusted individuals throughout the city who have been pre-approved and get them to do the dirty work. And then once they're done, they can go about their business and they'll make a hefty profit from the endeavor, because it seems to be rather rare that they do need something, but it's quite useful.
Has there been any scandals? This Sherwood?
With him, no. With another member, yes, but that's been rectified. He was exiled from the city and also stripped of his bar association, his accreditation, and his title.
Mhm. Very well. Thank you for your assistance.
It was a pleasure. All right. Whether it be the word of law or an axe, you know where to find us.
Hmm.
And
And
Kunkel
Amelia
makes-
also stands up.
Yep.
As Kunkel stands up and follows him to the door at least.
Okay, fantastic. He goes ahead and he gives a bit of a bow to each of you and makes his way out.
And as actually Amelia goes to open the door for him and says, "Well, thank you. It was lovely working with you, and I will definitely contact you again."
A pleasure. And remember, the discount always applies.
I will remember that. Well, have a nice evening.
You as well.
And then she looks at him and gives him a nod as he goes, and then she closes the door, and then she like dropping her pose a bit and like stretching, and then like goes into the lounge again and stands next to the wall and starts standing like she normally does.
Say, Amelia,
Yes.
do you think he would be fit to become a more permanent colleague of yours?
He is actually a ghoul, and he belongs to Chloe Tatiana. But because he is a ghoul and in the legal business, he's probably very good at duels against known ghouls, and why I've chosen him.
That
As
would make
our-
all the sense in the world.
Yes.
What did you say, Chloe?
Chloe Tatiana. and she would. I can type it out for people.
You'd also like to say who Chloe Tatiana is to the rest of the group, because I think you know.
Yes, yeah, and just to know, so people will know also that Chloe Tatiana is the gangrel primogenitor of the city, and is also one of the society. Meaning that society business have a discount as at Kunkel's firm.
That is very useful. Oh well, too bad he's already earned.
Well,
No doubt we'll find other candidates.
Well, I am glad you're happy that he seems so good to you. That means I chose the right candidate.
I do apologize. Apparently I still sneeze.
Do you think he will? Well, it's probably safe to assume that whatever we tell him will be brought to Miss Tatiana.
If he finds it to be of use, it will probably do that. I doubt he will tell everything it doesn't work, because I haven't met Chloe Tatiana that formal together, so I don't know exactly her interest in legal business. But normally when you get a ghoul to handle legal business, it's because you're not so interested. Unless there is a scandal, of course. I doubt this will be that big of a subject.
Well, makes sense. She's also a gangrel, so...
I help myself up on my cane. So, about the rest of the night, shall we? Or do we... I've been cooped up in this house for way too long.
It would be nice for a walk. She will stand up.
Where is the... Do I know where the maiden is at the moment?
I assume here. I don't know. I assume here.
I assumed
She's
as
probably
well.
just yeah, if there was a coffee, she was probably just not tasting it because she can't taste it, but smelling it and probably wondering, what flavors would go well with this? As everything else of the discussion went over her head. But talking about making good drinks and food, she was like, okay, I'll think of stuff as she sits there. But yeah, it's like she's trying to pay attention and get on your guys' level, but she's like, I don't understand. But no, she also rises to her feet the second a field trip is mentioned.
Do you want me to follow on this trip?
You're most welcome to join us, I would guess, if Isabella's alright with that.
Yes, of course.
Alright then. I'll tap the cane 2 times before I start walking.
Huh?
I need to get into a role, so I'm going to try a few things, he says on his way out.
It suits you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you guys head out the door. Give me a second here. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum.
We.
Oh, there it is. All right.
Do tell me if we manage to get to the market, if there's like 2 green stalls that sell fries right in front of it.
Okay. All right. So
I don't even know if we have potatoes yet.
yeah, I mean, yes, you guys have potatoes, but I don't know if fries are a thing yet. When did fries come about?
Me neither. I don't have a clue, so I'm
Fuck
just
it!
having
In
a
this
laugh.
world, it does not matter. The fry conquers all. Alright. Okay. So yes, you go ahead and you make it out of the door, and you are on the cobbled streets of Bruges. Where do you guys head? Essentially, where you are in the city, there is quite a lot of very nice buildings and establishments around you. And there's a main thoroughfare not too far away from the road that your manor currently sits on. But it's not exactly the most active of places in the city. Not currently, anyways.
I think it might be interesting to explore the rack first, unless we want to sort of see what activity happens in our new neighborhood at night.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Where was the mansion on the map? It was in the... like down here somewhere, right?
The mansion itself, I believe I threw up north.
Okay.
Unless I misremember. I think you guys are somewhere, around where Seth just pinged. Within a block radius of that at the very least.
So we're almost at the rack then.
Yeah, you just have to cross over the bridge, because I think you guys would actually end up coming down. Can you guys see my ruler?
Yeah.
Yes.
But okay, I
Yes.
think you guys would have to come across the bridge here unless you go all the way around.
Out of Blue Sky. Yes. We could head by the market first, see what the activities are going on.
Sounds like a good idea.
Split off to our territory from there.
Is there any preferences you're hunting tonight? Any one of you?
I haven't really thought on that yet.
Have you guys started walking at all, or are you guys still out just outside
Probably.
the door? Okay.
Just to point it out, Isabella is still dressed like she usually is, in like a huge dress and dressed up to the teeth, basically.
All black with a white collar, like the annoying ones. That's gonna make stains if I don't watch it.
Yes, it will. Very easily.
Mhm.
Okay,
I'm
fantastic.
feeling someone in a good mood, perhaps.
Well, I think then the rack will be a good place. I think a lot of people during the night are coming out to drink and party.
Yes, but perhaps not necessarily too indulgent yet.
The evening is fairly early. There should be a good variety of that kind.
I'll have a look in that case.
Well,
I am looking. Emilia's only looking around trying to find other potential problems like Canaanites or things like that. That's what she's looking for. Other
Okay.
hunters.
you can go ahead and
You're
make a
babysitting.
perception awareness. Well, actually, yeah, perception awareness, difficulty 6. Meanwhile, as you guys are heading along, going deeper and deeper into the rack itself, eventually crossing over to the bridge, the night air begins to pick up with a bit of noise and activity. All right, let's see here. Over to the rolls page. 0! Oh, fantastic! First roll of the night, already a 0. Wait a... Ooh. Alright. At least it wasn't a
Yeah,
botch.
there's a 1 and an 8.
1
yeah.
and an 8. Yeah, perfect. Alright.
Cancels each other out.
Amelia, as you guys are walking and coming into the rack proper, you are immediately overwhelmed by the number of people that you see walking about the streets. There are children laughing and playing around and going around and playing small games nearby and being very loud. There are adults in small groups standing around talking and having pleasant, some of them not so pleasant conversations. There's also quite a bit of foot traffic in both the sense of individuals going from point A to point B in the normal sense, but also individuals coming in with their carts, their animals, things like that, making their way through the streets and making their way from stall to stall. Most of the shops seem to either be closed or in the process of closing. And up here in this portion of the rack, there are a few stalls that seem to have recently opened, and there are a number of people who are sort of shopping at those stalls. But it actually, at least where you are now, it seems like the area is sort of closing down for the night.
It's Bruges. You had expected anything else. Well, let's look for something that's actually open.
As the integral Bruges expert, I'd like you to roll me a Wits Streetwise, difficulty 6.
I don't think we have streetwise in the Dark Ages.
Oh, no. Fuck you, Dark Ages! Alright, hold on.
Streetwise is a V5 thing? I'm not sure.
Is it? God dang it. Alright, well, in that case, we will replace Streetwise with... What did they replace it with? Or what comes in place?
I mean, it doesn't perfect translate, but they removed it to fit the legerdemain, but that's more of criminal activity
Yeah, I'm
than
not looking
actual...
for criminal activity.
Commerce, maybe, to find a...
Yeah, commerce.
Sure,
maybe.
that'll work. Wits Commerce.
With what exactly?
Wits Commerce, difficulty 6.
Wits, commerce, wits.
Where be the people and the money at this time of night?
Wits. Difficulty 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here goes Shizzle. Nope. Wow, second roll of the night. Fantastic. -2 botch.
It's a real
Great
botch.
start.
It's a super botch.
It's a super bot.
Victor has an aneurysm and falls out immediately. No, I'm kidding. With a -2 botch,
Everywhere
here's
I go,
what,
the doors
here's what
close.
goes. Essentially, Victor has the bright idea of, I know exactly where the stores are open, and he'll walk to a location, and then he'll find out that the business that he was going towards, that he knew for a fact was open, is either no longer there or has changed under new management and has changed their times. And that happens about 4 times in a row.
Okay, so not being around for a year is annoying.
It must have changed a lot.
Why?
Certainly seems like. The economy must have wobbled quite a bit.
I think Emilia in that case would step in and try to suggest another place. And if I can make the same roll.
Sure.
I hope I botch now because it was so fun.
Yeah, that would be.
Where do we have commerce? There. Wits commerce. Oh my god, no?
That
Four
is not a
successes.
botch at all.
Wow, quite the opposite. All right.
Do I know a place, I think?
Yeah, you think you do know a place, and you begin to head further and further into the rack, closer to the letters of the rack itself, sort of in this area. And it's not long before you begin to find the people. In fact, what you find is not only people out about talking, a couple of shops are still open and will remain open for a few hours, but also a number of establishments with individuals of at least low nobility, maybe as low as mercantile class, and higher, at their choice of taverns throughout this area. And there's a lot of them.
Right, take your pick, whatever you think looks good.
Shall we sort of meet here again in a bit, or sticking together might be weird on this, I don't know.
I'm not quite certain what we're supposed to do.
As you all stand around looking at the crowds of people going in and out of establishments, you hear the sound of people enjoying drinks with loud, boisterous conversations. You all need to give me a perception alertness difficulty 7.
Is that everyone?
Yep.
The pop-out just doesn't want to work.
no pop out for you. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Difficulty 7, right?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Interesting. Okay.
That's more like it.
All right.
I also have a speciality in perception, keen hearing, however.
Good. Keen hearing though wouldn't help. Okay. So,
Oh wait,
yes. Tell me more.
I was gonna say I forgot. Do you put your Auspex in that roll? Because I didn't do that.
Yeah, you should put your Auspex in there.
I forgot to do that. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Just re-roll it.
Or should I just do the 3 dice?
Go
Just
ahead
full
and
success.
roll me the 3 dice if you can.
How do you do that? I'm sorry.
There should be some dice down at the
Flash
bottom
roll.
of the thing. Either you can click on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I found it. Sorry.
You only rolled
That's-
1. Roll me 2 more.
How do you
Plus
do?
3.
Oh, it was plus 3.
Press it
okay.
3 times.
What? Oh,
You can
I
click
press
the
it
dice
once.
multiple times.
okay. I got it. I thought it was. Yeah, ignore the plus 3 then. Sorry.
There we go. All right, let's see what we got here.
9.
Okay.
One more.
Okay. All right. So that would you
Count as the
okay.
botch.
So now
It is
it is no longer a botch.
Yeah, this still a fail.
Fantastic. All right. The maiden does not get a nosebleed. Instead, the maiden just ends up not actually seeing or hearing this particular individual. Victor, you would be on the lookout and sort of amazed a little bit at how the atmosphere has changed here in downtown Bruges. At least from the last time you remember it. Then again, you weren't really that big into coming to downtown Bruges a whole lot. Unless it was for business or simply going to do things here or there. You would notice out of the corner of your eye 3 individuals sort of staring. And when you turn to look over in that direction, you would see there is 2 of them look like the most plain Jane Joes you've ever seen. So they don't really catch your eye. You can just tell that they're 2 very average males. The one in the center, though, seems to be a man probably in his mid-30s, very well built, holds himself with the stance and stride of someone who's in the nobility. You're not entirely sure if it's middle or lower. And much like you, also walks with a cane. However, his looks like it's purely decoration. He is Caucasian with short-cropped brown hair and piercing blue eyes. And also sort of a large amount of stubble that has not recently been shaved and is a bit wild in nature, but wild in a way that it sort of has a decent-looking shape still. These 3 individuals seem to be staring at your party.
I sort of just look back in their direction. The blue of his eyes is very sharp, you say, like supernaturally so, or?
One could maybe infer, yeah. They seem to give off a little bit more pizzazz than others.
And the more plain-looking individuals, do they look like more like thugs, or also like they sort of belong with the other man?
Sort of, if anything, forcing yourself to look at the other individuals. No, they don't look like thugs. They're quite scrawny. And if anything, they look like a noble's lackeys from school. Like the stereotypical, we're also nobles, but we don't have any actual say or do, so we just follow this guy.
So, Amelia, you wouldn't happen to know who that man over there is? And the two lackeys?
I try to not so obvious. Try to look in that direction, like it's casually do it.
You would see the individual I describe. Does not fit any descriptions you've currently been given of anyone.
I have not seen anyone of those in court, nor heard any description. Those eyes would probably be mentioned.
What are we talking of?
I turn to Isabella and say, "Oh, there's a man over there that has rather a bit of a stare in our direction. His eyes are a bit obvious. Also in color."
Gonna look over.
As you
I'm
look
not
over.
being super obvious, but not like, yeah, just looking.
Okay. So you just casually look in that direction, and yeah, you would see a group of men, with the middle one being as I described, looking in your direction very intently, and somewhat, it seems at this point, conversing amongst themselves. And by this time, when you've looked over in that direction for about 2 or 3 seconds, they begin to break away their attention and try and blend back with the crowd, but they stand out very well.
They were looking at us?
They were.
Do you want me to talk to them? Find out who they are?
I was thinking I might do so myself, but
Yes,
I don't know.
let's just go and talk to them. Quite rude to just stare at people. Isabella would kind of start moving in that direction unless someone stops her.
Well, as you begin to move in that direction, the
I need
4
a
of
follow.
you would hear a voice sort of chirp up from the crowd behind you. Fairly close, actually extremely close by to you. You'd see, wow, really? Already going into the jaws of danger, seeking out people who simply gawk at your appearance. Quite interesting indeed for your first night out.
Well, I will
Hello.
turn on her heels.
You would all
is it?
turn to go ahead and see the prince herself, Grand Duchess Martina Gizella.
Is she clothes like undercovered or not?
Oh no, she is. She's in an eloquent dress, like just as gaudy as what Isabella is wearing. But it's not black; it's royal blue, and it has a perfectly preserved and taxidermied fox as a scarf.
I curtsy.
My prince.
Ah.
Will
Isabella.
curtsy.
Slight bow.
Hello, Victor, Amelia, the maiden. How are all of you?
Prince, I'm fine. And she does another curtsy.
Very
Well-
well, thank you.
I take it you... Have you all seriously not been to the rack before this?
No, this would be the first time.
Yes.
Boy.
Unless
That is-
any of us, and I look at the other two, unless any of us snuck out without the others knowing.
I mean, the region has
Uh-huh.
been to pubs, but not necessarily for feeding. So I don't know if this is one of the ones she's been to.
You'd probably recognize one of the pubs nearby. Interesting. Well, so I take it you're on your first group adventure, hunt, whatever it may be?
Plan is to hunt, yes.
Good luck. And with that, she sort of says, but I have things I must get to. Toodaloo. And she disappears
Enjoy your
into the
night.
crowd before you can finish
Crazy.
responding.
Right then.
And Isabella will turn to look at the other people. I assume they're gone by now.
Oh no, they're still you can quite interestingly, when Gazella went into the crowd, it was like you saw her for a couple more seconds, and then she did the whole bus trick where a person goes by and suddenly she's not there. When you go to look back in their direction, they are very much still there, and it looks like they're heading into a establishment known as the Pharaoh's Widow.
Are they still looking towards us?
No, they just walk into the establishment very confidently.
Let's just move in the
Widow.
other direction.
Sorry?
Let's just move in the other direction.
Okay. You assume that the prince's word meant that they might be dangerous?
No. But it might be connected to her.
Also,
And since they are no longer seeming following us or whatever they were doing, I don't really see the need anymore.
Cool. Any of the other pubs look interesting?
There are about, at least from where you can see here, there are 3 currently in sight. So you have the Pharaoh's Widow, you have the Black Rose's Thorn, and you also have the Gypsy's Honey. Other than that, none on this block, but if you remember correctly, back when you went to school, there was another pub maybe 2 blocks away from here that's also pretty decent. And that was the
Closed down.
Red Roses Do.
Say, Amelia, you don't happen to know if the Red Roses Do is still open? Should be 2 blocks over in that direction.
Do I know if it's open? It's most likely open. Do you want to go there?
I sort of look at the rest of the group as in, I'm fine on going in anywhere, but there is still another option if you want to go further away from here.
That's fine.
All right.
Right, let's move
And
over
just
there. Then.
walk into the nearest one.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Yeah. All right.
This is so dysfunctional. I love it.
All right. So you just walk into the nearest one. Sure. Why not? Fuck it. Let's
The
see.
Black Rose or the other one?
Yeah, we'll say the nearest one was the Black Rose's Thorn. Okay.
Because that's not ominous.
Yeah, no, it's not ominous whatsoever. Well, funnily enough, as you would walk in, you would see that first off, when you come to the outside of the building, it has a bit of a balcony that is the 2 grand double doors to the balcony are open currently, and there are a couple of ladies who are out on the balcony saying hello to passerbyers and trying to entice people to come inside. They have these grand velvet curtains, essentially, that sort of block some of the view of inside on that 2nd story balcony. But other than that, here on the 1st story, there's a single window off to the left-hand side of the building, which again has a curtain in front of it of the same material and look. A grand set of double oak doors is next to that, and on the doors themselves they have had engraved and then masterfully painted a number of roses, which sort of spiral, and they're roses of different color, all spiraling to become one large rose that has black petals. The door itself is unlocked, and as all of you go in, you would see that it is immediately there's definitely a temperature difference. Outside, it's probably like a very relaxed temperature of, dear God, my brain wants to say Fahrenheit numbers, but I need to get the Celsius numbers. Hold on. It's like
Cross country
All right, it's like 22 degrees Celsius outside.
difference.
Right. That's 72 for our non-Celsius viewers. So it's a decent temperature outside, and it's not uncomfortable. Inside though, it's probably somewhere around, oh boy, more math. It's probably somewhere around 28. So there's like this rush of like heat that comes towards you as the double doors are opened up. Inside the establishment itself, you would see off to the left and right, and also a few in the middle. They have a number of tables that are very beautifully set up, made of oak, and wonderfully polished, but not quite as good quality as the table that all of you have in the Manners study. A number of different styles of chairs are around each table. It looks like someone had a set number of chairs, put them out, was very happy with it, then got more people than they expected, so they quickly rushed and ordered new chairs without any attempt to stick with the original style. So there's a mishmash of 3 different styles of chairs at each table. There's probably a good 30 or 40 customers all sat at the various different tables. There's a large open pit, I should say open stone pit, that takes up the center of the first floor of the establishment, where they are currently cooking a large hog via spit roast over. Off to the far left side, there is a bit of a bar that has an assortment of drinks and a small little price list next to it. And the clientele looks middle class to upper. And there are a couple of merchants and low nobles in here. You don't see any high nobles, at least here on the first floor. But one individual you would see currently sat down in one of the much larger tables. In fact, it looks like 2 tables that have been put together. Is one Ludolf Kunkel, currently enjoying a bit of brandy while also knee-deep in papers with 6 other gentlemen at a table. And I'd like all of you to go ahead and make me perception alertness checks. Difficulty is going to be 5.
Woohoo!
Okay.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. All of you would immediately notice that one of the individuals at the table is accidentally showing a little bit of fang. So that inclines you as to who the clientele at the table might be. The individuals around him, we'll start with the one that's showing a little bit of fang, is a woman in her late teens at most, maybe 18, maybe 19. Is very proper, has a very proper posture, but is dressed rather normally, abnormally normal dress. Her hair is in very nice condition, but it's clearly been purposefully messed with to make it look messier than it probably normally is. And she is currently sitting next to Kunkel, while there are 2 individuals who look to be merchants of some kind, both in what looks like uniforms, sailing uniforms, from a ship. You're not sure because they don't have the name of the ship or anything like that branded on them, but they definitely look like they stepped off a ship maybe 2.5 hours ago and have just made their way here. Neither one of them seem to be of any particular high rank or anything like that. but they're nodding their head very eagerly as they stare over these papers.
Do I
Beyond that,
recognize the vampire?
not by description.
Oh, we're not alone in here tonight, it seems.
No, in the rack you can meet anyone.
Don't worry, her name's not Persephone.
That would be unexpected. So
there are a few
there are
open tables, though.
Mhm.
What was your question?
I wanted to ask, since there seem to be basically whores around, is there like any woman around in the room that seems to be like the madam?
Over by the bar, there is one that is very eloquently dressed, who looks of an old enough age and has sort of that stance that says, yeah, probably the madam.
I'm boss here, basically. Right. I assume that we took money with us. Didn't...
It's up to you guys.
I don't carry cash.
I do assume that I carry some cash on me.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna go to the bar and try and see if I can assess what the madam is drinking.
Okay, you will immediately notice that she is drinking nothing but water.
Smart woman.
It's also early in the evening.
Also true. I'm going to order something that's red. Like wine, probably.
It's probably the only thing that I can think of that's red.
Yeah,
That's
and
available
while
at a
standing
bar.
there, I'll try to strike up a bit of a conversation with the madam. Just small talk.
Okay, fantastic. Alright. Cool. And the general direction that you're looking for the conversation to go in.
Basically, I'm looking for a moment when she goes from, why is this man talking to me, to the, oh, he seems rather friendly. I want to ask a question using Dominate.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute then. Alright, what are the rest of you doing as you watch Victor hobble off towards the bar and order him something to drink and begin talking up a woman who appears to possibly be the madam?
I think Isabella is moving over to a table. Emilia, will you get me something to drink?
Of course. What would you want, Duchess?
Yes, something.
I will start moving.
Huh?
Over to the bar.
How about the madam?
The maiden is probably going to also just join at the table. Quick question.
Yeah.
What was like? I know. As I was confused for a second. What would their training for like hunting have been like? Because like I know at least the maiden like are there like blood dolls or anything? But would they have been taught about that? Because I think she would have mainly fed on animals or had poor Quentin and Vincent just make her soup all the time. Because I don't know if she'd feel I don't think she'd feel comfortable drinking from someone, under false pretenses.
Sure. What you guys would have experienced so far when it comes to hunting is literally them telling you the process of what hunting is, how people have chose to done it in the past. They will have probably brought in someone so that you would have experienced what feeding was under controlled conditions. But they would have never taken you guys out to hunt. Because all of your food would have been delivered to the house.
Deliveroo.
So it's all been consensual feeding at the moment. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no, I think she's just gonna sit on the table with Isabella and enjoy the atmosphere and probably not. I'm not hungry, I'm okay.
Okay. All right, Amelia, you go up to the bar itself, and you can overhear a little bit of Victor's conversation with the madam. Currently, they are in a bit of a conversation about alcohols. It seems when you arrive there.
All right. I will turn to the bartender at least and say, I would want a glass of wine. Red wine.
Red wine. Do you want French, Italian?
Some Italian.
Italian. All right.
Also, I would want a second wine glass, but I only want just a little wine in the bottom of it. Just like so you can taste it once. But for someone who doesn't really want wine.
We can do that, yeah. That'll be 3 guilders.
I know. Isn't that super a lot?
Yeah, it is.
Didn't he cost 5 guilders? Oh my god. Then I would say, what wine is it, the Italian one? Must be named for costing that much.
Insert medieval wine from Florence that has a high name.
Alright. Do I think that this is probably very fancy?
Yes.
Okay. Does the price seem reasonable to me for a glass?
For a glass? No, it does not.
What would be reasonable even if it was expensive wine?
Like a guilder.
She said, 3 guilders sounds a little too much. Like 1 or 2? Why is it costing 3?
Make me a persuasion etiquette. No, you guys don't have persuasion in this one. Ah, damn it. Hold on.
We have expression.
You guys have expression and empathy.
And empathy and subterfuge.
Charisma etiquette.
Charisma etiquette.
Difficulty 6.
Okay. One success?
1 success. Kind of gives you a bit of a smile and says, all right, so you're not a tourist. Good. And he says 1 guilder.
That sounds reasonable. And then she pushes over the guilder.
Good to do business with you.
You
Maxwell
will probably
Johnson.
earn all my guilders anyway before the night is over.
Your name?
Do you need my name as well? Do you try to ask me out afterwards?
Maybe.
Alright, you can call me Emilia.
Good to know. Maxwell Johnson.
Maxwell Johnson. Well, maybe I will see you later as well in another context. And she will smile and then start to move back.
Okay, fantastic. Meanwhile, while Isabella has the maiden by herself, any conversations?
Feeling about this whole hunting thing. Is that really necessary?
I don't see so either. I mean, I quite enjoyed the suit. And yourself?
Well, not certain I would say I'd enjoyed it. Well, I suppose I did. But it was convenient. This all seems very messy.
Are you going to give it a try, though?
I suppose it is the logical thing to do, in case we are in a pinch at some time. Better to do it now when things are not so pressured.
True. Guess it's something to get used to, but She's kind of eyes glaze over everybody, and a lot of sailors here. So I imagine there might have been some people that she's had one or two runs in with, but she
You
just
probably
shrugs. Does anyone have
recognize
that
the
in
two individuals at the table with Kunkel, if anything.
Does anybody here catch your eye though?
Sorry, did you ask?
Does anybody
Well?
here catch
Oh
your
yeah,
eye?
yeah.
Not certain. What exactly am I looking for?
Exactly. I was wondering, like, how does anything show what it's gonna taste like? I don't think they went over that.
Well, I suppose a good start is someone clean. Seems like they're taking care of themselves.
Everyone in this establishment, except for maybe the sailors, seem to check that box.
Other than that, I'm at a loss.
Well, I guess this isn't a bad place to start then. Oof.
Oh, by the way, you would know if anyone of the group has been sort of looking into tastes and that kind of stuff over the last year, it probably would have been Victor.
Maybe Victor has some data on it. What to look for? What is he doing anyway?
Chatting up the owner.
Right. Is he going to hunt the owner?
She shrugs.
Very well. And Isabella will kind of just do a little bit of small talk.
Okay. So, coming back over to the madam, you're sort of realizing that at this point in the conversation, things are beginning to sort of wind down. She's interested, but kind of also lost interest in just like general talk. So she's beginning to ask less and less questions and communicate a little bit less. When you think now might be the time to pop your magic question.
Right, in that case, I'm going to assume that Mesmerize is probably the best one to get a straight answer out of one.
Oh, okay.
Someone.
All right. Oh, all right.
So, that's a long description.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. But go ahead and roll me that manipulation leadership. And it is
spending a blood.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you have to? No, you don't have to spend a blood point.
Okay, in that case, I'll get it back. Leadership. Manipulation. Whoop. Let's see where this goes. 3 successes. So, when we're talking about alcohol, there's also this thing with it, of course, that it makes you talk and say things that you otherwise probably wouldn't. Which makes me wonder about, let's say, gossip. Who of your customers would you consider the horniest and happiest?
Well, if I had to pick a single customer, I would have to say that would be... Well... If we're talking the horniest, Count Driscoll.
Count Driscoll. Do tell me more.
About Count Driscoll, he is a very fine man, well-paying. Every morning he comes in at about, 8 in the morning, He pays a single dollar, well, guilder in this case. He pays a single guilder and lines up all the ladies of the house and goes in a straight line, not missing a single one, from one woman to the next, all the way to the end, licking their breasts. That is how he starts his day every day, and he has done so for the last 6 years. And then he comes somewhere close to closing time, around 10:30, and he chooses 3 of the women to accompany him to his manor, has his way, and then sends them home. Beyond that, I would say he is the horniest, because he is here every day.
And what would you say Driscoll looks like?
Well, he is a very, small man, somewhere around the whereabouts of 5'2". He is very well dressed, semi-bald monk-like head in his hairstyle, a bit on the old side, pushing into his 50s. Usually he looks old but sharp.
Look, very interesting. Thank you very much for the conversation.
It was a pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes,
And
you as
I'll
well.
start walking to the table and sit down.
Have I arrived at the table?
Yes, you would have arrived at the table while that conversation was going on. So before any of that was said, you arrived at the table, and then maybe
Alright.
30 seconds in, Victor.
On my way to the table, the glass I had with just a little in it and nothing, I just hold it and I swirled the alcohol around in it, the small part of it. And when I came to the table, I places the untouched wine glass in front of Isabella and the one with seemingly someone is drinking with this. I'm not lying or trying to pretend otherwise. Placing it in front of Rose, or the maiden. Rosa, the maiden.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then she will... Should I go around and maybe see if I can learn any gossips while you're deciding on your hunt? Or do you want me to stay close by?
Oh, that would be great.
And she starts moving out from there.
Isabella will-
Still moving around, I guess. Trying to look innocent. And I'm not going to do innocent stuff because I'm going to go around pickpocketing people with money as I'm doing this
Oh
gossip
boy!
evening.
All right.
How do you think I have the money?
Interesting.
Oh,
Interesting
gotta
indeed.
pickpocket people too.
Okay.
Very much, no.
So far, we have I have never heard that Isabella have given me any money. Still, I pay for
Oh.
stuff. So how do I
Oh.
pay for it?
Isabella has days had not crossed her mind. Like,
Okay.
you don't handle money. Money is just like,
Money's laying around everywhere.
it's just something
usually.
you have. You don't use it.
Dexterity Legerdemain.
Not in Disney.
Alright. And I actually have a speciality in this. So
Tell me
nimble
more.
fingers.
Nimble fingers. It will apply. 20 successes. No, it's just one.
Oh my
just
god,
one.
it's not.
Just one.
Oh,
Ouch!
Wow.
If you roll too many dice, that's what happens.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
more shots
yeah.
for once.
Alrighty then. You get about 10 guilders, and that's it. From the first guy you pickpocket. The next time you try and pickpocket someone, they just move around too much. And from that point on, your game seems to be off. It's like you get nervous around the next person you go towards, and then the next one, and then the next one. They keep moving too goddamn much.
People are too horny here.
As I sit down at the table and see Emilia go off, I sit down with the wine like, I think I found my target.
Oh. Oh, no?
Hmm? Oh, no. I just needed information from her.
Hmm.
No, I've noticed that the most sanguine of blood comes from those that are either happy or horny-ish.
Oh, we were just discussing.
I was discussing her horniest old goat of a customer.
See.
Apparently this Count Driscoll comes in every day. Seems quite the pervert. But he would do.
Alright.
Is he here tonight for you?
It might be around closing time. Unfortunately, that's a bit late, but I hope to catch him. Well, and if not,
Other than that-
I'll find someone else.
Happiest, you said?
It depends what sort of taste you're after. As in, I seem to have a preferred inclination for what would be described as sanguine. There's of
Right.
course also choleric, melancholic, and what's the last one again? Sorry, I just blanked out.
Which one's your name? Sanguine, choleric, melancholic, and hold on.
Hold on,
What are you
indeed.
looking for? What are you looking
The
for?
humours.
Oh. I mean sanguine, yellow bile, black bile, plague.
No.
Phlegmatic.
Phlegmatic.
Phlegmatic is the last one.
Yeah.
As in, you want someone choleric, find someone who gets into fights, someone that likes to bully, someone that likes to be on top, dominant, fighting. If you are looking for someone more melancholic, on the other hand, than choleric, then you want someone who's sad or thinking too much, slightly depressed, or mourning as well. And then there's of course phlegmatic, which I completely now forget. What kind of people have that humor?
Like, I don't know. Maybe they don't have any emotions. Like, you have
Lazy,
lack of
apathetic,
emotions.
calm, controlling.
Yeah.
Yeah, more like calm. A total lack of emotion, however, would be, well, mainly without resonance, without taste. Apparently that's a thing, and that's the association has with necromancy and obtenebration. Humorless.
Okay. All right.
Psychopaths
yeah. All right.
and such.
Why necromancy
Or
of all
dead
things? Okay.
What has been like the norm so far that from the blood we've been provided?
The norm so far has
Or like the
been,
average?
Probably a mix and match.
It would probably be a mix of either phlegmatic, however you say that word,
Yeah.
and melancholic.
Oh, if I remember this as well, I will mention at the table that that is what we usually get served at home. So I felt like something more happy or horny, more sanguine.
I have rather liked the things we have been provided. But I suppose we could experiment.
Well then, let's have a party for the rest of the night, I guess.
Yes. Perhaps that would be the interesting thing to do tonight. Just taste a little bit of each and see which one we prefer. An experiment, if you will.
We could. Entirely.
I think I will do that.
Okay, fantastic. And it's there that we will take our break, and we will be right back. See you soon, folks.
Whoop, whoop.
ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the show. All right, picking back up where we are, our group of adventurers at this point, because they are taking their first adventure outside of the manor, have made their way to the Black Rose's Thorns, and have discovered the ill reputation of one of the nobles here in town, on their search for targets to hunt. Would like to pick things back up?
What time on the evening are we currently? Because she said he comes back in around closing time, around 10:30?
It's somewhere around... It's probably just turned like 9:15.
So we still have some time. Interesting.
Do Emilia hear any rumors that she's going around not being super successful in stealing stuff?
I have to go look at your
Or any
languages
gossip?
again. Hold on.
I actually, during the year, the downtime, I learned some more languages.
All right, let's see here.
You want me to list them or type them?
I'm just gonna look through your...
They're on the description
Here we go.
tab.
All right. Okay. All right. There would be a group of individuals speaking French that would essentially be complaining about a new set of tolls that have been established in the roads between Bruges and crossing the border to France.
All right, and they are like, does it seem like it's really unfair, or is it more like, oh, they have tolls now?
No,
or
it,
is it like,
it seems like they feel like they're getting shafted because those were very popular roads to bring in high-value goods, and now everyone seems to be essentially scrambling to find new, safe roads that aren't tolled and don't take a million years to travel through.
do I know what the Bruges like imports mostly from France?
Alcohol, silks, and also probably what else would you guys import from France?
This time period, perhaps some furniture? I don't know.
Maybe?
It might be the other way around for furniture.
Yeah, and wine is a likely one indeed.
Yeah, well, that all fits under the branch of alcohol.
Sure.
Fair.
Saying. That's about, those are the major trades I would say. So alcohol and fabrics.
All right. Cool. I take a mental note of that, so I know what Isabel should put her money in to increase her value or position.
You mark that mental note down. And are you... would you want to have achieved your gossip mill before getting back to the table, or would you have gotten up and gone searching for gossip afterwards?
No, I went out to the table to do pickpocketing, and I was doing the gossip things at the same time, basically.
I
And
see what you're saying.
I don't think I'm planning to return to the table unless someone of them looking at me, or if they start moving around. Because I mean, I just don't want to stand there and look stupid next to the table, and I don't really want to sit down.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
So I'm mingling, I guess, with people.
Yes. Also, if you have any expended willpower, go ahead and regain a single one.
I don't, but thank you.
All right, fantastic. Too bad. Anybody else doing anything?
The maiden is gonna start moving around and shuffling her tarot cards and also mingling and seeing if anyone wants some fortune thread. And hopefully getting some local gossip while she's at it.
Fantastic. All right. Unfortunately, my dog is losing his shit outside right now. So I will have to put us on a break again as I figure out why the dog is screaming. BRB.
Back.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, due to some incidences going on with the DM, we have to call tonight's session. And we will be back next time, and we hope to see you. So sorry. Adios.